All right. All right. So waiting for price to set up the opening range. I mean, the price is very bullish, right? So the only thing is obviously what I would love to see is obviously buys, but um, but they already happened, to be honest. Pre-market. So yeah, 1 hour push from the after the liquidity sweep. Now the 15 minutes right here you can see C2 closure, and from there price just ripped off. So there will be just going to wait for price to actually set up the opening range. Then I will see what price does. Either price breaks high first, come back to the New York VWAP, retest, and then pushes higher, like it was yesterday. Uh, or price may even break the opening range low first for buys. That would be very nice. I would love to see those first if price does break the opening range low first. Obviously, for sells, they may happen, after a double break trade. If price does break the opening range high first, then I think that must happen within the 10 a.m. candle, because the 1 hour on the 9 at 9 a.m. is strongly bullish, right? So there is a yeah. If price just closes somewhere here at this point, then retest the New York and pushes higher, then it is what it is. I'm not gonna look for first break of the range buys. I'm not gonna look for those. I mean, yeah, really the buys happened already, not gonna lie. So the buys happened from here. This right here you had a position, then then you also had one right here within the same candle, right? This is the 9 a.m. First 15 minutes, and then obviously there was two entries right here and here. So at this point it's either I wait for price to do something, to show up, to at least set up the opening range. All right, so now if price does push lower, retest the New York, then price comes higher, sweeps the opening range high. uh, that would be a really hard thing to short into this 1 hour candle, but within the new 1 hour candle, that would be different. That would be different because then price would have to sweep the high of the 1 hour candle first before it will look for sells. So how far price would want to go on the 1 hour, on the daily, right? Because the daily already swept the high right here, which was here, and I don't know how price would react at these levels, right? But for me, as I said, the buys already happened and they were pre-market buys. Now again, if I would want to see sells, I would have to wait for the new 1 hour, for the new 15-minute candle, for price to sweep the opening range high first, right? Then CISD, that's number two. Then obviously close below the New York and trade to the lower side of the range, to the opposing side of the range. So we'll see how price setups. So still 5 minutes left until the 15-minute candle closes and the opening range is set. So I had no trades yet this week. I had no trades this week yet. So there is still no trades this week. So the last trade was taken last week. That was a loss. Alright, so we do have a new protected swing after the retest of the New York VWAP. Now, this right here shows that price is willing to go up, but if I would, if I'm looking for break and retest buys, then it has to happen within the new 1 hour candle. So for a double break, for the sells, price would have to break opening range, then we should have CISD and then look to trade lower. All right, be right back. All right, so 1 minute left until the opening range is set. The 1 hour looks bullish, 15 minutes looks bullish right now, right? So, the opening range is most likely set. So at this point, there is either price breaks high first, then CISD closure below the New York, and then I see sells to the downside, or price will break high first, then price continues pushing higher, then we have retest of the New York view up at some point within the new 1 hour candle, which is at 10 a.m. and from there maybe I would look for buys to the session highs. So it's just what price does, right? It's just either we break the high first. Now if price does go lower, breaks the opening range low first, then obviously the buys would make much more sense. So there is only a double break buys, which would be from here. There is a break and retest buys, or there is a double break sells. So I only look for for a break and retest buy sells. I'm not looking because the New York and the VWAP are both in alignment to the upside. So all right, so the opening range is set. Price does break the high first within the 1 minute candle. Now this is a very important, because at this point if price does close below the New York after we sweep the opening range high, then I would look for sales to the opening range low. And that would make sense, because then the 1 hour candle would do something like a range for price to then maybe go up. So just let's see what price does next, because we do break the opening range high first. So at this point what I need CISD, and I need closure below the New York so I can look for sells. Alright, so if we do close below this candle right here, that would be a change in the state of delivery, and then whenever price does close below the New York, I look for sells with a stop loss above the high, then obviously for trade to the opening range low. If price just continues pushing higher, then I will wait, because then I will wait for price to come back, retest, and then look for price to go higher. All right. Now, also what price may do is price may want to retest the New York overnight, right? I'm not saying it has to, but maybe, right? If we have sells, I'm looking for price to reach the opening range low, but if price starts ranging now and then price does sweep the low first at the New York retest, then maybe I can look for buys as well. But I will have to wait for this current 15-minute candle to close. Alright, so I had double break, double break, double break, double break. These are all double break trades. So at this point, just yeah. I had a couple losses last week. Alright. Alright, so the price is continues pushing higher, and at this point, I'm not gonna take the buys yet. Now, if price does within the new 1 hour candle at 10 a.m., come back to the New York, retest, and then maybe I can look for the session high trade to the upside. So 5 minutes left until the 15-minute candle closes. Right now at this point, what I would love to see for price is to come back to the New York, retest, and then maybe look for continuation. Alright, so we do have the yearly change in the state of delivery. Now if we do have closure below the New York, there is a potential trade to the downside. So really price does close in 3 minutes. So will price manage to close below or no? So the trade would look something like this. But that all depends on the how 15-minute candle will close the current candle. Because if price does close outside the range of the previous candle, then the sales doesn't make sense. Well, if we do close back inside the candle range, then the sales would make sense. As you can see, the 50% of the candle would be somewhere here, so that could be my break even, and then maybe I can look for continuation to the downside. But again, 2 minutes left until the 15-minute candle close. That will decide what I want to see, either sells or I will look for break and retest buys. Alright, so the 15-minute candle does close outside the range, so at this point I'm not looking for sells. What I would rather do is I would wait for price to retest the New York VWAP once again, and then look for the buys to the session high. Yeah, because the sells doesn't make sense at this point. We don't have the closure back inside the range. On the 15, you can see it does close outside the range. So will it give me the trade or no? I don't know really. Well, obviously I would want for price to sweep the low first. And from there, maybe I will have buys to the upside. Maybe, I don't know. Now, if price does go higher first, sweeps the high, and then we have the closure below the New York, at that point, yes, I would look for sells once again. Until then, I'm waiting for price to go to the session high. But again, I'm not gonna take this trade. For sells, price has to break this high first, and then from there maybe I can look for sells. But until then, I would rather look for buys. But price may just go to the highs now. So we don't have any news. Tomorrow, no. Tomorrow we don't have any news too. same as on Thursday and Friday we do have NFP. So maybe price does setting up for Friday. All right. So looks like price is going to break the high first. But for sales, price has to close below the New York blue line with change in the state of delivery. Only at that point I can think about sales. Until then, price may do whatever. Price may even just rip off and just continue pushing higher like it was yesterday, right? Yesterday was the same thing, but the yesterday price did provide actually the entry for break and retest. It just only that the VWAPs wasn't in alignment with the price action, and that was Monday, so I did not take the trade. So there is a big chance that I'm not gonna take the trade today too. If price is to continue pushing higher. Now if price does change in the state of delivery, closure below the New York, maybe I can look for sell still. So as you can see, is if price is to continue pushing higher, I'm not expecting for price to come low as this low. I'm not expecting for price to break that low. If price does break that low, then that means price may continue pushing lower within the higher time frame, 1 hour candle, 15 minutes, and then 1 minute. So you always have to look at a higher time frame candles first, right? Not the other way around, like 1 minute, 15, 1 hour. So I always look at the 1 hour time frame, 15 minute, and then I look at the 1 hour. Does it support or no my idea for the trade? All right, we're back. All right, so at this point, the price may just continue pushing higher as, until 11 a.m. So it's like 15 minutes left. If I don't think I will get the trade, to be honest with you, because price did not actually retest the New York. We were pushed from there. Price, did not retest the New York. Only here, price retested, and at that point, price doesn't need to come back. Now for sells, price is extending outside the range for quite a bit. Now, if price does sweep the liquidity right here, closes below the New York, maybe I can look for sells, but that would be within the new candle. I'll have to wait for this candle to close. Then maybe within the new 15-minute candle, price will close below the New York and we go down and we push lower. I'm not saying price would be bearish, but maybe it will have some sort of retracement, because on the 1 hour candles you can see that price had expansion. Now at some point price may want to come back, maybe within the next 1 hour candle, who knows. But for me to take buys now, price would have to at least come back to the New York view up, and shouldn't close below, and then maybe I can look for continuation buys. But again, at that point, the 1 hour candle would look already bearish, because price would flip here bearish. Now we would have a small wick which would support the manipulation, and maybe price would come to somewhere 50% of the range, who knows. I'm just going to wait for price to do something in 5 minutes, see how the 15-minute candle close, and then from there, I will make a decision. Because once again, the 1 hour, 15 minutes, and the 1 minute now supports the expansion higher. It's only that I don't have the entry for me to take. Now if price would have with this current candle would have come to the retest of the New York VWAP, maybe I can look for buys, but price never came close. I mean, it came close, but I want the retest of the New York, right? So the indicator marks the protected swing, and you can see this dot right here means that now if price is to continue pushing higher, price shouldn't come lower as this low, right? Because if price does go lower, then maybe price will retrace. If price is to continue pushing higher, this low is going to hold and price is going to continue pushing higher. But once again, 2 minutes until the 15-minute candle closure. Alright, so we're still closing outside the previous candle range. What does it mean? It means that price is most likely to push higher within the next candle. Or if price does break the high first, then there is a potential price will retrace to the candle low. So that would be somewhere here, right? And at that point there will be I would have to make a decision. Either I still want to look for buys to the session high when it has already been set, or maybe price will close about below the New York, and from there I will look for, you know, some sort of bearish move. Maybe not, maybe price will just continue pushing higher. Alright, so as you can see, price just opened within the new 15-minute candle and broke the high first, right? So let's see, either prices just continue pushing higher, or we will see some sort of retracement at least to the New York. Alright, so also the range is so big. The range was a 250 points, so that's quite big range for price to open. That's a good range to trade. And from there we pushed for a 100 points only. So I do trade until 11 a.m. and if there is no trade until 11 a.m., I mean there is no trade, right? All right, so that's the retracement I was talking about. Now, it is the question is if price really wants to close below the New York to continue pushing lower, or price is just going to range, at a level, and within the new 11 a.m. candle, price will continue pushing higher. So I don't know. So even if I would want to look for sells with the stop loss above the high of the session, the stop, the take profit at the low, that would be still 2 hour trade. I don't think, I'm not sure if price will really want to go, to the opening range low. That's the most boring, that's the thing about the boring part of trading, that you have to wait for the setup. You have to wait for your setup to appear. Yeah, so the daily is very bullish at this point. So how far price really wants to go, because we didn't really retest the overnight view up, right? We once retested at a at the beginning, and here we did not retest, here we did not retest. So maybe at some point price will want to come to the overnight view up to retest. Maybe not in this session, maybe tomorrow, right? Who knows? So waiting for this 15-minute candle to close in 5 minutes. All right. Prices to continue pushing higher at this point. All right, so most likely I will wait for one more 15 minute. So with the next 15 minute, I think I will finish the stream because most likely I won't get any trades today. All right, so at this point, there will be no trades taken. The the session almost finished in 20 minutes. It does finish, but I don't think that I will get anything, to be honest. So I will wait 7 more minutes until this candle closure, and then most likely I will finish the stream. Alright, so 3 minutes left, and at this point, I don't think I want to take the trade, to be honest. Alright, so at this point, the last 15 minutes just opened up, and at that point, I'm not gonna look for any trade. So unfortunately, today I had no trade. I mean, not unfortunately, it's good. I did not enter any trade that is not within my plan. I did not lose money. I saved money for the next trade, right? So yeah, at this point, it is what it is. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next one tomorrow. So be disciplined and just